I just basically looked up one of maxishines old videos of his 8800 Ultra when he SLI'd them for Crisis. He got about 30 frames per second at this resolution with everything maxed out, 16 AA. So I want to see if my 8800 GTs will beat his two 8800 Ultras. Here's my Core 2 Duo I'm using. The old 65 nanometer E6600. It was stocked at 2.4 gigahertz, but I got it to a stable 3.375 gigahertz. So almost a 1 gigahertz overclock on it. Under 1.4 volts, I got it at 1.352. So the temperatures are just they're damn good on this for this kind of overclock. 1500 megahertz front side bus on a 780i. Yeah, 780i. Both lanes are two PCI Express 2.0 16 times. That's what the cards are running at. So they're a bit higher than what maxishine had at his setup, but nevertheless, it's basically the same sort of hardware. 2 gigs of RAM. RAM is overclocked at 1.1 gigahertz overclock on the memory. It's running in dual channels, so you got to times that by 2. G skill RAM. 2 gigs on a stick per stick. And here's my 8800 GT running an SLI. I got 2 of them. And yes, I overclocked them. I overclocked them further than what the Alpha Dog edition had. This is XFX. I got the memory to go to 1 gigahertz memory. So it's GDDR3 type memory. So let's double the bandwidth. So that's actually 2 gigahertz on the memory clock. The shaders, I think I got them a bit further. I got a 50 megahertz overclock on them. But the core, I could not get any higher than 670. I could probably, if I ran one 8800 GT, I could probably overclock them even further. I can probably get the shaders to 1700 and the core to 700 megahertz. But it's running SLI, and both cards aren't technically the same. They one card can overclock higher than the other, so you basically just mix and matching them, and so you can probably overclock a card more if it's just by itself. But considering I'm running them in SLI, I have to make sure they're both stable at that frequencies, and they are stable. I stress tested them for a good 24 hours. Even the CPU is good to go at 3.4 gigahertz. Alright, here we go. I wanna estimate I'm gonna get about 40 frames per second average. That's 10 frames over maxishine's 8800 Ultras. I run them in DirectX 9 because he ran his in Windows XP DirectX 9 as well. I can do DirectX 10. I think I'll do that after this test, just to show that even when I'm running DirectX 10 with the 8800 Ultras with this resolution in the same settings he had set up, I can probably still beat his 8800 Ultras. Alright, let's begin this test. I have high hopes for this. Ooh, autofocus. I hate autofocus. This is on a 22-inch monitor. It can run 1680 by 1050, but for this test, I'm going to do just basically what maxishine did on his 8800 Ultras. Here we go, just flying right through the benchmark. Here we go, we see the frames per second. I'm hitting 40 frames per second, 50 frames per second average. These G92 CPUs can just handle this no problem at this resolution. I think the only thing the 8800 Ultras have on me is running in higher resolution because they have more onboard memory for the GPUs. I think they got 768 megabytes where I only have a 512 meg card, and Even because it's running SLI, you think you add the two cards together, you get 1 gig. It doesn't work like that, because they both have to share the same. The memory has to share the same image, so they're both, you know, they both have the same. They both use the same memory. Is what I'm trying to say. You can't add the memory together, and it's using up 1 gigabyte of my system memory. It's not bad. And here we can, look at my Logitech G15 gaming keyboard. You see, come on, focus, focus. There we go. I got EVGA Precision 1.93, just basically the latest. And you see I'm just getting 50, 60 frames to 70 frames per second on these two overclocks. See, it even tells me my temperatures of both GPUs and my GPU percentage usage. And as you see, this is nothing for two 8800. They're not even going at 100%. In Metro 2033, my cards are just at 100% all the time with DirectX 10. So DirectX 9 is nothing for these G92s. So there's still some life in these G92s, is what I'm trying to say. There's some gaming to be had with these still. I think these can probably compete with the 9800 GTXs, except for they can go 3-way SLI. I think that's probably about the only significant upgrade. The benchmark's done. I should have just videoed the whole benchmark. Now I'm gonna probably get people think I'm faking this video, but yeah, about almost 50 frames per second average. 1280 by 720, 16 times anti-aliasing, 32-bit. I could do 64-bit, but for the sake of this, I'll run it in 64, because I am running Windows 7 64-bit Ultimate. I didn't even get over 8800. I didn't even get over 80 degrees Celsius on these G92s, and they're supposed to be running hot, but they do run hot when you run DirectX 10 games. Like in Metro 2033, these 8800 GTs will load at about 98, 95 degrees Celsius. Alright, there we go. I'll probably do another video of my 1680 by 1050 with DirectX 10 enabled. See if I can still beat maxishines 8800 Ultras and DirectX 10. But in DirectX 9, it's clearly 8800 are better than the 8800 Ultras.